This was the hood ornament to my father's car. He had it on every car that he ever owned up until 1970 something. And I was born in 1948, and I'm sure he had it on any vehicle he had before that. It was purchased as a hood ornament, from what I understand. It was not on a vehicle when he bought it. It's obviously quite old. My mother had a hood ornament also, which was a rooster. And I wish I had it to bring also, but my sister's got it. It's just a falcon.
Okay, well, it's a special falcon. This was actually made by René Lalique, who was the premier glassmaker in France during the Art Deco period.
During the golden age of French motoring, wealthy car owners commissioned Lalique mascots for prestigious marques like Bugatti, Hispano-Suiza, Voisin, and Rolls-Royce. This hood ornament exemplifies Lalique's signature sculptural style. A stylized falcon, poised with alert elegance, cast in molded, frosted, and sometimes opalescent glass. Its sleek, aerodynamic form, almost modernist in its purity, reflects the Art Deco fascination with speed, power, and streamlined design. Produced around the 1930s, the Falcon became one of Lalique's most refined and exclusive automotive mascots. Though production ended by the mid-1930s due to changing regulations and the approach of World War II, original Lalique hood ornaments like this are still celebrated today for their artistry, rarity, and connection to the luxurious culture of early 20th century motoring.
Something like this in a retail shop could sell between $5,000 and $6,000.
That's outstanding.
If it had not been outside,
right,
and it had been a clear piece of glass, it would have been worth maybe $1,500 to $2,000 at best.
Even at that, though, that would knock my socks off.
The sculpture was an award from my father from the Carborundum Company. They flew my father and mother to New York and put them up at the Waldorf Astoria and had Joseph Albers at the large banquet when they presented this to my father. This is my father, Joseph Albers, and this was the vice president of the Carborundum Company. I believe it was around 1976. When they brought it home, my mother did not allow it in her early American house, so my dad...
Oh, that's hysterical.
My dad housed it down at his business and warehouse area, and when he gave up his business and sold it, I said, well, I'll take it, Dad. So that's how I acquired it.
What was the company?
The Carborundum Company specialized in abrasives and diamond wheels and polishing.
The Carborundum Company, founded in 1891 by American inventor and chemist Edward G. Acheson, grew out of Acheson's accidental discovery. While attempting to create artificial diamonds, he instead synthesized crystals of silicon carbide. In the 1960s, the company developed a synthetic abrasive material called Mulfrax, one of its advanced industrial products, and began commissioning avant-garde sculptural works and experimental projects from leading modern artists. Among those artists was Joseph Albers, the German-born painter, educator, and theorist, who created sculptures like this one using laminated or sandblasted glass, arranged to explore his lifelong investigation into the interactions of color, light, and transparency. Rather than treating glass as a decorative medium, Albers approached it through rigorous Bauhaus principles: precision, clarity, and a reduction to essential form. Created in 1970, just 6 years before his death, this work reflects Albers's mature modernist vision: color as structure, geometry as language, and light as an active element in the composition. Joseph Albers's glass sculptures are rare, highly sought after, and valued as some of the most distilled expressions of his lifelong study of visual perception.
Coming to a value is a little bit of a challenge, but at minimum it would be worth about $50,000 retail.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for bringing it in.
Oh,
this
my
was
pleasure.
Really a treat for us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
In the 1930s, my parents went to an estate sale in New Haven, Connecticut, and they bought it. And I know that they didn't pay much money for it because they didn't have any money. It's been in the family for over 60 years.
That's wonderful. This particular glass was made at Tiffany in around 1914. Tiffany was owned and operated by Louis Comfort Tiffany, who was the son of Charles Tiffany, the founder of Tiffany and Company. This particular glass is called aquamarine glass.
Inspired by Louis Comfort Tiffany's lifelong fascination with the natural world, the Aquamarine series takes its cues directly from the sea. Waves, sea foam, drifting plant life, and even the flickering light you'd see underwater. All of these effects were captured in layers of molten glass. Tiffany traveled constantly, and you can feel that influence here. The shimmering, water-like colors almost look painted, as if he were translating the movement of the ocean into glass. Made mostly between 1900 and 1915, these vases really show off Tiffany's mastery of Favril glass. One of the things collectors love most is how the colors shift subtly depending on the light. Sometimes calm and pale, other times deeper and more vibrant. Today, aquamarine Tiffany vases are especially prized for their serene beauty and for representing Tiffany at the height of his artistic experimentation.
Your piece of glass is worth between $30,000 and $40,000. Pretty good.
This early 20th century vase, Salmon, was crafted by the renowned French glassmaker René Lalique. Celebrated for transforming glass into sculptural art with frosted surfaces and intricate, functional reliefs. By the mid-1920s, Lalique frequently employed press-molded and mold-blown. The vase depicts stylized salmon swimming among waves in raised relief. Lalique's hallmark approach, combining frosted textures with polished highlights, imbues the fish with a sense of movement and three-dimensional vitality. Designed for an international clientele of luxury collectors, pieces like this vase would have graced elegant interiors as striking centerpieces or as part of curated art collections.
I think a good auction estimate on this would be $20,000 to $25,000.
My goodness. Something I'll treasure even more now.
Well, my great-grandfather was the surgeon in Kansas City, and this was his lamp.
Well, it is a Tiffany Studios lamp, Moorish pattern. Probably dates from about 1910 or so. I'm not exactly sure. You brought us a photograph showing the lamp in the original interior of the house.
Yes.
By 1910, Tiffany Studios was at the height of its influence in the American Art Nouveau movement, producing some of the most iconic decorative objects of the era. Tiffany's designs from this period often highlight nature-inspired motifs, rich colors, and a level of craftsmanship that still feels remarkable today, all of which you can see right here. Like many of his finest pieces, this lamp features Tiffany's patented Favril glass, where the iridescent color is actually embedded in the glass itself. That's what gives the shade its soft, glowing, almost magical shimmer. The base, cast in bronze, was designed with artistic details that enhanced the shade without competing with it, a hallmark of Tiffany's balanced aesthetic. Today, lamps from this period are highly sought after, not just for their beauty, but for the way they capture a defining moment in American decorative arts.
This particular lamp and the market today is in a retail venue could sell anywhere from $25,000 to $35,000.
Great. That's wonderful.
My grandmother had it, and we're not sure where she got it. We're thinking either a wedding present or perhaps her parents gave it to her. Don't know the age, don't really know where it came from.
Okay. Well, it's a kind of lamp that we don't see all that often. It's called an Argand lamp. It's named after its Swiss inventor named Argand, and the design was developed in the 1780s.
Swiss chemist Aimé Argand's innovations in the late 18th century completely changed the way people lit their homes and workplaces. His breakthroughs paved the way for the oil lamps and eventually the gas and electric systems that would define lighting throughout the 19th century. The Argand lamp introduced two game changers, a hollow cylindrical wick and a protective glass chimney. Together, they allowed far more airflow, producing a brighter, steadier flame than anything candles or older oil lamps could offer. Brass became the material of choice for these lamps, not only because it could handle the heat, but also because it added a touch of elegance to everyday interiors. What makes this particular example especially fun to look at are the twin-etched globes on each side, along with the central glass lustres. They don't just look decorative, they actually help reflect and amplify the light. Today, argan lamps like this are prized not only for their handsome neoclassical styling, but also for the major role they played in the history of artificial lighting.
And if you were to try to find something similar in a shop, you'd expect a retail replacement price to be probably somewhere in the $8,000 to $10,000 range. So they're definitely a prized possession. The pair that you have of side lamps, that are the single arm, certainly would make this more compelling because it would be the whole intact three-piece garniture.
The whole set,
and then you're probably looking, probably looking in the $10,000 to $15,000 range. Well, thanks again for bringing them in. A real treat to see.
Oh, it's been fun.
This vase was purchased in Leningrad, Russia. After the Second World War, it has a signature underneath of Nicholas II. I liked it because it was big and impressive.
And I understand you used it for 12 flowers?
Oh, absolutely. I had branches in it for many, many years.
It is Russian, done by Imperial Glass, which was the finest manufacturer of glass in Russia. And if we look at the bottom, there is the monogram of Nicholas II, and it's dated 1909.
The Imperial Glass Factory, founded all the way back in 1724 by Peter the Great, was Russia's most prestigious glass works. For nearly 2 centuries, it produced luxury pieces exclusively for the imperial court, the aristocracy, and high-ranking diplomatic gifts. By 1909, in the final years of the Romanov dynasty, the factory had reached a remarkable level of technical and artistic mastery. That's when pieces like this were made, exquisitely engraved, cut and wheel-carved crystal that blended European elegance with distinctly Russian style. It features deep, incredibly precise engraving, often floral in theme, done by artisans who trained for years and worked directly under the patronage of Tsar Nicholas II. What really sets this one apart is how it was made. Instead of using more common tools, the engraver worked with a copper wheel which allowed for an extraordinary level of detail and refinement. Today, crystal from the factory's final decades is especially prized. Collectors value it for its beauty, its royal connections, and its rarity, representing some of the finest glass artistry ever produced in pre-revolutionary Russia.
Now, how much did you pay for it when you were in Russia?
I think I paid 130 rubles.
If we had this piece in our store, I would say the price you would have on it would certainly be in the $5,000 to $7,000 range.
That sounds very, very, very good.
During World War II, both Allied and Axis prisoners of war often turned to intricate crafts to pass the time, creating everything from carved miniatures to hand-stitched textiles, and ships in bottles were among the most remarkable. Building these tiny vessels became a form of mental escape, a way to showcase skill and a morale booster amid difficult circumstances. This example reflects that tradition, combining maritime heritage with ingenuity under restrictive conditions. The ship inside the bottle is a carefully scaled replica of a German naval or merchant vessel constructed from wood, wire, and thread. Sealed with wax or cork, the bottle protected the delicate model, transforming it into a lasting keepsake and a testament to creativity and resilience during wartime.
It's my belief that this bottle very well could bring somewhere between $300 and $500.
Excellent, excellent. I'm quite happy with that.
Okay, what leads you to believe it's Murano?
There's a tag underneath here that said it Murano. So.
Oh, okay. So basically, we have a nice early paper label, Murano Vanini, right?
Right, right.
Okay. So Paolo Vanini started the Vanini Glassworks around 1921. The island of Murano, it's a very well-established glassmaking area, internationally known, of course. I think this is a design by Carlo Scarpa, Italian, born 1906. He was trained as an architect, came to work with Vanini in the early 30s, and then went on until 1947 to design some of the best glass pieces ever made in Italy, in my opinion.
Around 1930, Murano glassmakers were embracing modernist design, moving beyond purely decorative motifs to explore streamlined geometric and sculptural forms. Carlos Scarpa, who would later gain international renown as an architect and designer, drew deeply on the Murano tradition, collaborating with master glass artisans to create objects that were both sculptural and functional. In this green glass vase, Scarpa combines traditional Venetian glassblowing techniques with subtle experimentation in form, texture, and asymmetry. The rich, translucent green is accented with gold, showcasing Murano's expertise in color, clarity, and refined detail. Today, this Scarpa Murano vase is prized not only for its rarity, but also for its elegant synthesis of artisanal craftsmanship and modernist design.
It's a wonderful piece, and actually the marketplace really appreciates his designs. I think a good auction estimate would be $15,000 to $20,000.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's sweet.
Yeah. And this really is a very nice piece of 20th century glass.
Thank you. That's great. We love it. We really appreciate it.
I brought a lamp that was left to me by my mother. It's a Handel lamp. I believe it's reverse painted with a chipped ice glass shade. That's pretty much all I know about it. I searched all over the shade for a signature, and it not having one made me wonder, such a well-known company, and everywhere you read that they have signatures and numbers on them, why mine didn't have one. It's always been creeped me out a little bit.
Well, I don't think you have any cause for concern because, yes, in fact, is a Handel. I actually found a reproduction of an original drawing from the 1924 sales catalog, and it showed this lamp.
This lamp?
As you know, they made more than one of these, but it did show this model. It's number 7126, and it's described as an 18-inch decorated Taroma glass shade.
The Handel Company, founded in 1885 by Philip J. Handel in New York, became one of the premier American lamp manufacturers of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The firm began by producing handcrafted bronze and spelter bases, but quickly set itself apart by pairing them with innovative, artistically decorated glass shades, such as this striking Taroma example. The shade features an iridescent, gold-etched peacock motif rendered in shimmering blues, yellows, greens, and browns, complemented by a gold and black onyx effect base. The Taroma design was created by Henry Bedigi, one of Handel's most talented early 20th century artists, celebrated for his contributions to the company's reverse-painted and art glass shade production. Together, the sculptural bronze base and large, reverse-painted Taroma shade illustrate Handel's guiding philosophy, the harmonious blending of function and artistic expression. Today, lamps of this caliber are highly sought after by collectors and museums for their craftsmanship, visual impact, and historical significance.
What's interesting about Handel, particularly this kind of lamp, the values have really fluctuated. In fact, in probably 2004, a lamp like this had sold for as much as $32,500 at auction.
Wow.
And now they've been going down in value. I would put an insurance or a replacement value of $10,000 to $15,000 on the lamp.
Oh my goodness.
They had two appraisers coming in, and both of them independently said, "Oh, I'll give you $1,000 for it." My wife said, "If they'll do that, it must be at least that. I'll pay the $1,000 and give it to me." The whole thing was rigged like this, and this chip there was on it, but it had been repaired just like that. I was always going to get a new one for, and it's very hard to find that kind of a thing.
Oh, that's the case.
In the final decades of the 19th century, French makers married cutting-edge technology with extravagant showmanship, producing a rare breed of novelty clocks that doubled as mechanical marvels. Among the most spectacular were the animated industrial clocks, miniature tributes to the age of steam and steel, where timekeeping shared the stage with barometers, thermometers, and moving parts that celebrated engineering triumph. This extraordinary battleship model, crafted around 1890, transforms a warship into a desktop wonder. Gilt and silvered bronze hull, rotating gun turrets, and a spinning propeller, all powered by the clockwork hidden within. At its heart, a porcelain dial displays hours and minutes, flanked by a barometer and dual-scale thermometer, Fahrenheit and Celsius, while the reverse reveals the winding port, discreetly concealed beneath a removable plug. The entire sculpture rests on a luxurious Brazilian onyx, plinth crowned by its original glass dome, preserving every gleaming detail from the era's obsession with naval might and mechanical precision. Produced in tiny numbers, these clocks appealed to collectors of horology, nautical artifacts, and industrial design alike, crossover masterpieces that remain astonishingly scarce on today's market.
This clock today, I would say that the retail price would probably be $45,000 to $50,000 clock. So
very interesting.
It's gone up a little bit.
I like your words.
It was given to us by an older friend.
Okay.
We're a friend of the family.
Oh, okay, very nice. Well, as you know, or may have surmised, this is a Tiffany lamp. It's a leaded glass shade and a patented bronze base that very pretty kind of Art Deco look. And the shade here is stamped Tiffany Studios, New York, and it's late 19th, early 20th century.
Golden glow of the early 20th century, Louis Comfort Tiffany wasn't just making lamps. He was painting with light, turning everyday objects into quiet revolutions of color and form that still whisper stories across 100 years. This particular lamp began its life in the bustling Tiffany Studios on Madison Avenue, where master glass selectors hand-picked sheets of Favril glass. Iridescent, alive with inner fire, before cutters shaped each petal and leaf with the precision of jewelers. The shade, stamped Tiffany Studios, New York, carries the quiet authority of authenticity, while its patented bronze base, darkened to a velvety green-brown, hides a secret drawer, a hallmark of Tiffany's playful ingenuity. Imagine it on a mahogany desk in a Gilded Age library, or glowing softly in a Park Avenue parlor. Its Art Nouveau curves, softening the rigid lines of the new century, a gift from one era to another. This lamp is not the rarest Tiffany shade, but its honest craftsmanship and that exquisite base, complete with original patina and signature, make it a survivor, a quiet witness to dinners, conversations, and generations of hands that once reached to switch it on. From the hands of a family friend to a moment of stunned laughter on Antiques Roadshow, this lamp has carried light, and now astonishing value, through time.
I think conservatively at auction, 8 to 12,000, 10 to 15,000. So not a bad gift.
Are you serious?
Tiffany lamps are very desirable, and people like the look.
Say that again.
8 to 12,000, 10 to 15,000. Nice base, good shade.
I'm in shock.
Purchased by my grandfather in about 1909.
Okay.
It was to be a wedding present or an anniversary present to his parents.
Ah, okay.
And then it's been passed down through the family.
Well, where did he purchase it?
He purchased it in Los Angeles.
And how much did he pay for it?
At the time, he paid $50.
$50, okay. What you have here is a Tiffany leaded glass and patented bronze table lamp.
Around 1909, Tiffany Studios was at the height of its success. The firm employed teams of designers, glass selectors, cutters, and metalworkers who worked collaboratively to transform Tiffany's nature-inspired concepts into functional works of art. The glass itself was the true centerpiece. Favril glass, patented by Tiffany in 1894, was hand-blended and iridescent, with colors and textures that echoed the shimmer of dragonfly wings, rippling water, shaded foliage, and flower petals, as seen in this example. One of the patterns introduced in Tiffany lamps around this period is the poinsettia design, visible here in the continuous band of stylized poinsettia blossoms set against warm opalescent panels and framed by geometric banding. In keeping with Tiffany's philosophy that a lamp should be beautiful even when unlit, this example features a bronze base in an organic, twisting trunk form that harmonizes elegantly with the shade above.
I would say a safe auction estimate for this is 30 to 40,000.
Great, fantastic.
Which is a nice sort of gain on the $50 that your granddad paid for it.
It certainly is.
Okay.
That's great.
These belong to my mother. My father was a doctor and they lived in Ohio. He quite often would go to New York and he liked the female form. So he quite often would bring home beautiful things that had this nice form on it.
What you have is a dresser garniture. These were made by by René Lalique, in the 1920s. They're French. But ordinarily, you usually just see one of these at a time. I was really quite flabbergasted when you came in with all three, because I've never seen the three together.
Around 1920, René Lalique, already famous as the master jeweler of French Art Nouveau, had fully reinvented himself as one of the premier artistic glassmakers of the Art Deco era. His dressing table garnitures, typically made up of matching perfume bottles, powder jars, trays, and ring stands, perfectly captured the new aesthetic he championed. Crisp geometry, frosted surfaces, and elegant relief decoration inspired by nature, sensuality, and classical form. These sets were produced at Lalique's Glassworks in Combes-la-Ville and later in Vingens-sur-Moder, where he pioneered the techniques that defined modern luxury glass. Press-molded designs paired with satin-frosted finishes gave his pieces that signature Lalique glow, soft, sculptural, and unmistakably refined. One of his favorite motifs appears on the perfume bottles in this garniture, myosotis, French for forget-me-nots. These delicate floral sprays, usually shown in low relief or as repeated molded patterns, became one of Lalique's most recognizable designs. The motif appears throughout Lalique catalogues from the late 1920s into the 1930s, most often rendered in frosted or opalescent glass and occasionally accented with subtle staining or patina to highlight the details. For the stylish woman of the 1920s, owning a Lalique dressing table suite wasn't just about storing perfume or powder. It was a statement of modern elegance.
Now, in the present state, the three of them, even though they all have condition issues, are worth, they would be sold in a retail store for around $8,000. If these were all perfect, they could be worth for as much as $20,000 to $30,000 in a retail store.
Thank you so much, and thank you for telling me about this.
I ended up finding it in my father's garage. He had an office out there, and it was in a storage room after he passed away, and I was going through things.
And how long ago was that, would you say?
I found it around 1985.
Well, it is signed by Tiffany Studios. The man who owned Tiffany Studios was the son of the man who owned Tiffany and Company, and they were separate operations. Tiffany Studios made these lamps, not Tiffany and Company.
And where was that located?
It was located in Corona, Queens, and they closed in 1933. Now, just because it's signed doesn't always mean it's right. However, this is real. It wasn't the signature that I was paying attention to. What I was looking at was the glass that was used, the way that it was constructed, the pattern, the finish, and that's on top of the leading.
This lampshade, known as the daffodil shade, was created during the height of Louis Comfort Tiffany's artistic peak and quickly became one of Tiffany Studios' most cherished floral motifs. Introduced around 1900 to 1905, the design reflects the studio's fascination with naturalistic botanical themes, inspired by Tiffany's lifelong love of gardens and his keen observation of how light dances through colored glass. The daffodil shade is composed of hand-cut, copper-foiled pieces of Favrile glass, meticulously arranged to depict yellow blossoms and spring foliage in gentle, rhythmic patterns. Its vibrant palette, from soft lemon yellows to deep, lush greens, was carefully chosen to capture the effect of sunlight filtering through blooming flowers. Today, the daffodil shade stands as a quintessential example of American Art Nouveau, celebrated for its masterful craftsmanship, harmonious color, and sculptural presence.
As a shade by itself, in a retail venue, this could sell for between $25,000 and $30,000.
You're kidding.
Not at all. I'm not kidding. Now, if you spent between $5,000 and $10,000 on the base, as a whole lamp, it could be worth between $50,000 and $75,000.
Oh my God.
Right.
That's just amazing. I just can't believe it.
The only thing we know is that it hung in my parents' family room over the table for like 35 years. And my mother passed away, and then eventually my father. So then it became mine. It's a Handel signed lamp, and my father counted all the pieces, and there's 877 pieces.
Well, you're right about it being a Handel, but believe it or not, there are 1,100 pieces of glass in this lamp.
Oh, well, then he didn't count right.
Well, it's hard to count, but I'll tell you why I know there are 1,100 pieces in the lamp.
Okay.
Because in an article written in July of 1907, this lamp was described. And one of the things that it said was there are exactly 1,100 pieces of leaded glass in this lamp.
Wow.
Leaded glass shades were highly sought after in upper middle class and wealthy American homes, often serving as focal points in living rooms, libraries, and parlors. By the turn of the century, the Handel Company had earned a reputation for decorative lighting that married artistry with practicality. Their leaded glass shades were created by assembling small pieces of colored glass held together with lead came, employing techniques akin to those used in stained glass windows. This particular Handel shade showcases a lush floral motif with cascading foliage that blooms into flowers and fruits along the sides. When illuminated, the design glows with vibrant, luminous color, transforming light into living artistry. Today, Handel-leaded shades from this period are prized for their exceptional craftsmanship, intricate design, and enduring aesthetic appeal.
It's a very fine example of a leaded glass shade by Handel. It's one of the nicer ones, and it's one of the larger ones also.
Yes.
It would retail at least for between $12,000 and $17,000.
Oh my.
And since this has always been in your family as a hanging shade, it should stay like that.
That's what we'll keep it as.
It's
Thank
very
you.
beautiful.
Thank you. We love it.
It belonged to my grandmother and then my mother, and then I chose it after my mother died. I had two brothers. They were kind enough to say since I was a girl I could go first, and so I said this is the piece I would like, and my brother said, oh, that's fine, I'd just put avocados in it if I had it.
Oh, I love that. I love it. What do you know about the silver part of this?
Well, it is Meridian and it is silver plate. And Meridian, I think, was in Connecticut. And the satin glass, I think, is very unusual because it's two colors, pink on the top and blue underneath.
That's correct. The silver plate is actually made by Wilcox. And they are in Meriden, Connecticut, but it is made by Wilcox.
Okay, I'm glad to know that.
The silver plate is circa 1875. They referred to these as bride's baskets.
Oh.
And the silver was made separately with the Wilcox Company. And then the glass would have been made by numerous companies.
Bride's baskets were popular in the late 19th century, often given as wedding gifts or keepsakes, reflecting the era's appreciation for ornate, handcrafted household objects. These pieces frequently combined glass and silver plating, catering to contemporary tastes for mixed-media luxury items that were both functional and visually striking. This example is crafted from satin glass with ruffled edges and a gilded interior decorated with ferns and dragonfly motifs. The quadruple silver plating provides structural support while offering decorative contrast, enhancing the glasswork and adding durability. Victorian satin glass bride's baskets with intact silver plating are uncommon, particularly in well-preserved condition, making them highly collectible today.
If you saw this in a fine antique show, you would see a retail value of $2,500 to $3,500.
Wow. That's exciting. I'm amazed.
Well, I more or less inherited it when my grandfather passed away in 1964. It was purchased directly from Tiffany. Actually, my grandfather purchased 4 lamps on February 11th, 1915.
Which lamp is this
The
lamp?
one valued at $90 at the time. He picked the cost.
90, and so that was the dining room lamp.
That was the dining room lamp.
I also noticed that you brought a photograph of it hanging in the dining room. What year would you say this was?
That is 1967, and that was Christmas Day, and that's my mother, my father, and a cousin of mine.
This is called a turtleback glass
Okay,
lamp.
I've heard that term.
They're green turtlebacks, red turtlebacks, and yellow turtlebacks. This is probably one of the nicest green turtleback lamps I've ever seen.
Tiffany Studios was celebrated for transforming functional lamps into works of art through innovative glass techniques and nature-inspired designs, and the turtleback shade is a perfect example. A hallmark of American Art Nouveau decorative lighting, the turtleback shade is named for its segmented, domed form, which resembles a turtle shell. Overlapping sections of Favrile glass create both texture and visual depth. Tiffany's patented iridescent glass produces subtle color shifts and a luminous shimmer when illuminated. Each piece of glass was carefully cut, shaped, and soldered into a harmonious mosaic, reflecting the studio's meticulous craftsmanship. Dated circa 1915, this turtleback lamp bridges Tiffany's earlier floral motifs with more structured architectural patterns, embodying the era's fascination with organic forms and geometric stylization.
If this were for sale in a retail shop, I could see it selling easily for $150,000.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not.
All I can do is say thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for bringing it. It's gorgeous.
Wow.